Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Vancouver Sevens. This one, Fiji versus Australia. Now, the match that's just come to a close, France versus Argentina. It was the underdogs, the French, who were able to get themselves the victory there. So the door has been literally wide opened for this group. Australia have qualified. Now, Fiji, I believe, all they need to do is get 1 point from this contest, so that is to lose by less than 7, and they would make their way through to the semi-finals ahead of Los Pumas as well. As Les Bleus looking through at the starting lineups for these two sides, starting with Fiji, it is Josefa Talatholo, Seva Mothorothangi, Jeremiah Matana, Douglas Tavera, Torio Vailawa, Natangi Bongi Nasoko, and Vui Viwa Nadovalo, who still sits at the top of the table in terms of tries scored for this Sevens circuit, and he is miles ahead of any other man on the circuit. Two for Australia, Henry Hutchinson, Aidan Akaniake, Ben Dalton, Ben Dowling, Josh Turner, James Turner, who does return for the Australians for this tournament, and Dietrich Roach, the last man in the Aussie side. But overall, the Australians have been going pretty nicely throughout this tournament. They are currently sitting 2 wins from 2. Of course, they'd love to make it a trio here and be undefeated heading into the next stage of the competition, where they are pretty much guaranteed to be at this stage. It's looking likely they will face either South Africa, New Zealand, or maybe even as a bit of a bolt to Spain. And Fiji, if they're in the top 4, they are always one to keep an eye out for, as they can be so dangerous in a playoff rugby. But Australia, with Dietrich Roach, they will be ready to kick this one off. Like they've just said, for Fiji, all they need to do here is lose by less than 7. Of course, a victory would, of course, be a lot better for Fiji. And here comes the run from Vuiviwa Nadovala, Fiji, firing from the start of this game. And 11 seconds in, Fiji already have a try. Just like that. And Vuiviwa Nadovala so casually puts the ball down as if that's just another day at the office. But for that man, it is. He has scored about 30 times throughout the Sevens circuit this season. The ball initially was retained by Australia. They slapped it back onto their side, but Vuiviwa Nadovalo was waiting for the pass. Receives it too and finishes it off for the Fijians. Go Fiji, go, says Avakesh, and Tosso Fiji, Tosso, says Akhtar. Now, I believe there is also a world where Fiji can finish top of this group. That kick has gone over from Fiji near the sideline as well. A brilliant kick, making the score now 7 points to 0. You should get a skillet haircut. I really don't think I should. I think I've had a few rough haircuts in my times, but I don't think a skillet would suit my head shape. Now, trying to charge forward here for the Australians and trying to find her answer back into this game. But if Fiji were to win this game and stop Australia from getting any form of bonus point, the Fijians would actually finish top of the group. They've tried the wide pass there, Australia. It's ruled as forward from AJ Jacobs. It's a big chance to be able to get a breakaway going. Dietrich Roach is well and truly against that decision. In fact, even without Australia losing by 7, it would actually just need to be a Fijian win, and Fiji would go to the top of the table because of that points differential to a certain extent. Don't think that's a terrible pass from Josh Turner. Probably a little bit unlucky getting the ball out to James Turner there. We've seen passes that have been a lot more forward than that left. We've seen passes a lot less forward be called. Torio Vailawa ready to feed this ball in. Nicely taken at the back for Torio Vailawa. Moving away to the left-hand side again. George Balsi passes across to Vuiviwa Nadovalo. Already has 1 try in this contest. Now Bongina Soko almost gets held up by James Turner. Bit of strength shown by the Aussies. They managed to tie him up and trying to force him into touch. They have stopped this ball from coming out. And it does now mean a scrum feed for the Australians inside of their own 22. Good pressure early on from both of these teams. Fiji striking first with the try. Australia now trying to answer back. And you see there, George Balsey, he pretty much just gets lifted off of the turf by James Turner, always looking at the referee, making sure that he knew exactly when he had to release just in case. In this case, wasn't necessary. Ready to feed it in. Australia have not topped their pool in Vancouver since 2020. I reckon the Blitzboks or Fiji will win this tournament. They look the most consistent teams So yeah, still too fast. Yeah, see, Fiji, even with the loss in their second game, they have still been consistently up there. Like Argentina narrowly sneaking past them. Great body position there from the Fijians, and now chance to run this one. Only a few metres out from the try line. AJ Jacobs falls over, but Rio Vailawa goes over the try line. Second try of the match for Fiji now. And tell you what, if these boys play like this tomorrow, they will beat everyone. Now, whether or not they can consistently play like this throughout the two matches tomorrow, of course, the semi-final, then the final, if they do qualify past that, but they're scrambling the Australian defence, and just that offloading ability makes it so difficult to be able to mark these boys. Rio Vailawa, he's a try-scoring machine. Vuiviwa Nadavalo, the same. They are actually the two men who scored in the last match for the Fijians up against Argentina, even in the losing effort. Kick has been converted, 14-0 for Fiji now. 3 minutes remaining of this first half, but Fiji couldn't have asked for a better start. Henry Hutchison tries to slap it back. This time it is knocked on by Jeremiah Matana. Way to the right, chance for Australia to move this one out wide. This one has not been called as a forward pass in this case, so Dietrich Roach gets the opportunity to run it down the wing. Now across to the left-hand side. Josh Turner moves to James, now on to the one more pass. Giving it to Ben Dalton inside of the 22 of the Fijians. This is the furthest up the field we have seen Australia be. Henry Hutchinson moving forward nicely. Cross to the right-hand side. Flicked on the inside. Aiden Kanayaka does score the try. Or Ikenyake, I think is how they pronounce it. I always say his name wrong. I say Kanayake, which I think is a little bit off. The koala is still in attendance. He was here for the earlier games of the Australian Sevens. Just a nice pass there into the hands of Aiden Kanayake to score it next to the post. In Australia, they are now back into this game. That is the danger of this Aussie side. Fiji, still any form of points, being within 7, that is all they are after. But of course, a victory here would be so much sweeter as it would move them into first place and to the overall standings. Just a minute remaining of this first half. I will mention also just the one game remaining of today that we are going to be covering for the Sevens on the channel. That is South Africa going head-to-head up against New Zealand. And that match will determine whether or not the Kiwis have any chance of making their way through. Hanging on to Rio Vailawa in the air for quite a bit of time there, Fiji. Now hitting the turf. All was there on the short side. Trying to cut back in as Balsi offloads to Rio Vailawa. Thought about the wide cut-out pass, but instead we'll just go to Seven Muthanothangi right next to him. Vuiviwa Nadavalo cuts through the middle of the Aussie defence, and again he has the breakaway with too much speed and scores it between the posts again for the Flying Fijians. It's that lethal counter-attack that they offer. Whenever you make one little mistake, Fiji will absolutely make you know about it. More times than not, scoring that try very quickly after. Go Fiji, go, says Ruit in there too. Yeah, the missed tackle from Australia led to the massive gap for Vuiviwa Nadavalo. At this point, he might as well be a sprinter because the amount of times that man gets a pretty much clear run to the try line multiple times in a game as well. He's got to have great endurance, but he moves up to 163 series points in total. He is far ahead of Jeremy Trevor Thick. It's also in the try-scoring department. He is quite clear about maybe 8 tries ahead of anyone else. This one's going to be kicked off high. Knocked back by Australia. Dalton now. Can they get this try before the halftime break as the siren sounds? In Dowling goes away to the left. Josh Turner does have James with him. Goes now one more wider. Seven Muthanothangi just lurking next to this breakdown here. You can see that he wants to put in a big hit if Hutchinson decides to run at him, but instead they'll go away to the right now. Dalton, here is Seven Muthanothangi making the tackle. He might have gone in a little bit too high though. Yes, he did. He's one of the taller players out there on the park, but he's still got to dip a little bit more. Go Fiji go again from right there too. Australia now have got themselves the opportunity for the tap and go, or maybe a scrum. Might be the other option. Yeah, they've just said a little bit too high from Seven Muthanothangi in the tackle on Ben Dalton. Australia just dealing with some bootlace issues. Right, tied back up, ready to go. And it seems like the set piece off a tap is the exact plan that Australia are looking for. Josh Turner, 3 men on the short side for the Australians, although nice cut back in. That looked like a set piece straight off the training ground, and that looked a little bit high from the Fijians. Again, that was from Douglas Taveta, but it is play on for now. Past one more, out to Henry. Hutchinson finishes it off and scores the try for Australia. Half-time, fast approaching. A little bit of afters there too, but a frustration perhaps from the Australians, but they are not down and out of this contest with their last-minute try of the first half. It is now anyone's taking for the second half, although as we know, you have to be far ahead of Fiji if you want any chance of stopping that comeback. But cutting back in, Rio Vailawa and Jeremiah Matana, the two men trying to make the tackle there. And hey, everybody, I just got on 5 a.m. here in South Africa. How long until South Africa and New Zealand play? They are playing in around 35 minutes' time. It's a live stream for that one starting in 25, just because we've got a little bit of time beforehand where we're going to describe what is going on for semi-final side of things, which at the moment, if this game sits the way that it is, it would be Australia and Fiji who do make their way through to the next stage of the competition in this side, meaning that France and Argentina are the two sides that would end up missing out. On the other side, it is a lot more of a complex equation. Spain, if they are able to beat Great Britain, they have a very high chance of going through to the next stage. But for the Kiwis, if the Spanish do lose, it means that New Zealand still have a potential chance of going through. And in some regards as well, depending on how they do it, whether it's head-to-head or whether it is the decision of points difference, theoretically, South Africa could also find themselves in a tricky predicament here. Although I don't think they'd go below Spain. I think the chances of that happening is extremely slim because of, if it is head-to-head result, because South Africa beat Spain by a big margin. Thanks. Cheers, Bruce. No worries at all. Second half of this contest just about to get underway. Currently the score is sitting, I think it's 14 points on the board for the Australians. In fact, I believe the kick was successful. Don't quote me on that, but we're going to change it to 14 for now, and we can always change it back to 12 if that kick was missing. A 7 points difference between these two sides. For Fiji to go through to the semi-finals, they need to be losing by less than 7, or of course winning this game would do it for them. And if they were to win this game, it would actually qualify them as number 1 in their group rather than number 2. And that would be quite the monumental comeback from the Fijians. It's actually more beneficial as a whole if we do see Fiji finish top of this group, because it would then mean that the chance of them playing up against South Africa in the semi-final is a lot less likely. But currently the way that it sits, if Fiji were to finish first, more than likely playing New Zealand or Spain. I mean, New Zealand versus Fiji has been such an awesome semi-final so many times in the past. So I think a lot of people would be hoping for that one. What's the possible semis fixtures? So yeah, at the moment, whoever wins this game will qualify as number 1 in this group. And they will face either Fiji, or actually they can face anyone in that group from South Africa, Spain, and also New Zealand. But on that next live stream, we will let you know exactly what is happening in terms of the qualification, because that will be after Spain versus GB. Rio Vailawa kicking the ball in behind. Ball sits up for him. He's got his double 2. Oh no, he passes it off to Douglas Taveta, trying to make it easier for the kicker. That is smart from Fiji. And they know that Australia, because of the fact that Australia have got those 2 converted tries already here, it just means that Fiji take a bit of a risk, but do reap the full rewards. Can I ask a big question? Hopefully it's not the same question as you normally ask, Mohuddin. Would you rather Imanetsbef run it at you, or have to tackle him? Oh, you have to tackle him, or face KG Rabada bowling 150 bouncers coming for your heads. They're still too fast. I would prefer KG Rabada, because if I know that it's a bouncer, I can just duck. Whereas if even Etzbe is running towards me, I assume I'm not allowed to sidestep. So, you know, like you've said, you have to tackle him full force. That kick has gone over from the Fijians. What happens if South Africa win? Then they would qualify as the top of their group and face the loser of this game, which at the moment looks like Australia. So it would be a South Africa versus Australia semi-final. And on the other side, Fiji versus either Spain or New Zealand. But the beauty of this Sevens comp is so much can change in just one game. For all we know, we could see Spain win, and then that would almost shut down New Zealand's chance completely, unless they were to beat South Africa, perhaps almost sneak through on that technicality. But going off to the left-hand side, now big driving run forward from Josh Turner. But no matter what, New Zealand, to feel safe in the semis, they would have to beat South Africa in the next head-to-head. They can still make it even if they don't. Oh, knock on there from Australia. Mistake they could not afford. Now they'll go back for the next scrum. When is the semi and final? So the semi-final, I assume you want it in South African time. Semi-final for the men's side of things is going to be at 10:33 p.m. tomorrow night. And then, well, in fact, tonight it would be for you guys in South Africa. And then the final will be taking place at the bright and beautiful time of 3:34 a.m. South African time. So that's a bit brutal, but that's pretty much about 22 hours from now. Another good Super Rugby round. So here's Islanders fan. Currently the live standings has Fiji sitting in that first place position. So with 5 minutes remaining here, if Australia can fire, I believe Australia would actually need 4 tries from here to stop Fiji from qualifying. So the chance of that happening is extremely slim, definitely with the fact that Fiji have still got the ball and have done so throughout a majority of this matches. Matana going off to the right-hand side. Skip pass out to Davida. He's already scored himself the one. Was gifted to him by Tario Vailawa, but it did lead to the additional 2 points. And I guess with Vailawa being the kicker, he was more than happy to sacrifice a statistical try for him so that he would then get the easier 2 points. Who do you think will win from here with 4 minutes remaining and Fiji up by 14? I'd say that they should be able to get the job done. Tario Vailawa offloads on the outside. Awkward bouncing ball. Davida was waiting for it, but it sits up past him and goes to Tani Vanuakula. Now Vui Viva Nadovalo moving away to the left-hand side. Josefa Talafolo tackled on the halfway line somehow. Finds a round-the-world offload from his back. Ball still with Fiji. Australia defence, they've got to be getting tired now. Bounces off the head of Vuiviwa Nadovalo, so back in the hands of Australia. Jaden Blake going across to the right. And if you play to Australia here, they are yet to give up in this contest. Over the ball, Fiji were almost penalised for it. Now Jaden Blake, advantage against the Fijians for offside. Blake just jogging that one. I don't know whether or not he was going that slow on purpose or whether he was just that fatigued that he couldn't keep on going. Now tackled on the halfway line for Hayden Sargent. Then penalty won by Fiji. No clear release. Frustration there again for Australia. Quick tap taken by Tario Vailawa to Josefa Talafolo. When those Fijian offloads start flowing thick and fast, it's almost as if they have more than the 7 on the field because there's always someone in support for that next pass. Ryan, please shout out. So yeah, shout out to you, Ryan. It is greatly appreciated. You're being there for this one. Now passed on the outside for Fiji. There was a hard landing on the back of the head, but looks like he's going to be all right. Davida down the wing. Does have the pace. And try number 5 in this contest for the Flying Fijians. And that well and truly now secures their spot through to the semi-final. This was the game that they needed to have a massive performance. They were very close to beating Argentina in the last match, but did come up short. Alongside that, we did see that great victory in the final moment up against the French. This definitely was the more competitive group of the two sides. Easy try on the wing, says Hanoi. Does the winner play New Zealand in the semi, says Hanoi. At this stage, more than likely, but still a bit of a wait-and-see situation. As Charles Oliveira submitted Max all the way yet. They are probably fighting now, aren't they, now that I think about it? Because I think they were supposed to start at 4, weren't they, the Sporting Kiwi? So, I mean, if Holloway hasn't been submitted yet, he's probably done quite well because a lot of guys have gone down in the first round to Oliveira. Oh, slapped back by Fiji. Grubbered backwards. Oh, it's hit the referee, so it will now be, I believe, the ball for the Australians. Okay, Australia were in possession. It touched the referee last. Did Spain win? They have not played just yet. They have got a game just about to take place. And but yeah, that is up against Great Britain that the Spanish would be playing. Ready to put the ball in for Maurice Longbottom. 1 minute 15 on the clock. Australia can't really get a lot from this game now other than just trying to work their way towards a bonus point. Even getting that, though, would not change too much. Oh, Manueli Moisama has fallen over to his own feet there. Good low tackle made by Filippo Bukayaro. Just playing the physical game on the breakdown and wins the penalty for Fiji. That just shows that power game when they need to bring it out. Filippo Bucayaro just pretty much firing the man on the ground, slapping his hands on the ball and was not letting go. Shout out to Ramal, Vanita, Vinali, and Ryan, please. Shout out from Melbourne in there as well. You'll be more than happy here because you have got the situation of Australia and Fiji making their way through to the next stage. It was a great ankle tap. Just hung on to his shorts too there for Filippo Bucayaro. And also wonder how GB is so poor when England did well when standalone in the sevens. Sometimes it's just that cohesion doesn't quite work out. I also do think they get slightly less, I think they get less training opportunities as a whole squad, because of them all being from the different countries. I could be wrong there, but yeah, it just seems like they haven't quite got that same page like we saw the likes of in England. Nice offload there. Big shot around the halfway line on the Fijian. Now, Meli my son Moore has that ball. Wallace Charlie jumps on it and manages to get the steal for Australia, who still would like one more try, although they have to be a little bit strategic here, the Aussies. The last thing that they want is any sort of injury now closing out this matchup. They are through to the semi-finals no matter what. So I don't think they need to risk too much, but at the same time, of course, they would love to be able to get themselves one more try here, just to make a bit of a statement at the end of the game. It looks like still a few more fights before Charles submits Max. Is it actually? Is that running long? The UFC card normally it's around 4:30, isn't it? Whereabouts is it taking place? Oh, there is going to be a yellow card. Oh yeah, no, they've still got 3 fights remaining before they get into that main event. Is it normally 6 p.m. maybe? Maybe I'm getting it confused. Right, there's been a little bit of push and shove here between the Fijians and Australian. Bit of feeling out there. The good news is these two sides get to play each other later on in the competition as well, potentially, either as a third place. Yeah, Josefa Talathola just kicking that ball away. He was confused about it, and then, yeah, you see Jaden Blake just having a bit of a conversation, and Tario Vailawa, the player who gets right in his face. I understand Blake's frustration, but at the same time, Tario Vailawa was actually yellow carded for that too. Great Britain is cheating us, as far as I'm concerned. Basically a Lions team minus the Irish. Could I have what time Fiji playing semi-finals? So I assume Fijian time is what you're looking at. So for Fijian time, it will be 8:33 a.m. tomorrow, or 8:55 a.m. One of those two times tomorrow morning is when Fiji will be playing Australia. They are held up, trying to get over the goal line. And there's a little bit of tension afterwards as well. But the end score in this matchup, 33 points to Fiji, 14 to the Australians. A very handy win for this Fijian side. Fired up, heading into the semi-finals. We see their first man to go over to them is not Henry Hutchinson, is Maurice Longbottom. 6 p.m. sometimes, depends where it is. So here's a Sporting Kiwi. What am I thinking of that's normally 4? Is that the boxing when it's taking place is normally around 4 p.m.? Potentially. It's normally at 4. Something's normally at 4. But yeah, so it's going to be early morning Akta, around 8:30-ish tomorrow. But as soon as we know who they are going to be playing, we will be scheduling those live streams just a little bit later on. But now there are still 2 matches that need to take place in Pool A. One of them is Spain versus Great Britain. That will determine whether or not New Zealand have to just win their game up against South Africa or qualify with a bonus point. So, yeah, we'll find that out in the very near future. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. Who got the yellow card? Taria Vailawa as well as Josefa Talathola. So 2 men getting it. It's Michael Manson and Scott Gregory injured. I didn't see them earlier. Yeah, I haven't seen their names on the team sheets as of yet. I know that they've got, one second, who is it? Sam Clark's been starting a few games for the Kiwis, but off the bench, there's Joey Tamatine in there too. So I'd say there is either injury or resting involved in that department. 1 second, we'll go like this, and we go like that as well. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for watching. We will be back for that match between South Africa and New Zealand. Also a little bit of a build-up for it, about 10 minutes, while we do talk through everything that is still to come for this competition. But I will see you all for the next one.